Welcome back to the Big Dogs Gotta Eat Fantasy Football channel. As always, I'm accompanied by my friends Nick Isidori, Georgie Bueno, my fellow Big Dogs. Today we're gonna hit you with something a little bit different. I know we've just been sitting here talking a bunch of bullshit the last couple episodes. So, what?
Beast move.
Has George ever agreed, or does he just disagree?
I agree.
Yeah,
well, he agrees that
he agrees that everybody's a beast.
Anyways, today,
shut up.
You're a youth large beast. We are going to do a mock draft, fantasy football. The first 3 rounds. We got our poster board right here. I'll zoom in after each round. I mean, we're gonna take our picks. It's 10 teams, 0.5 PPR, point per reception, and 10 teams. So we're gonna split it up. I'm gonna get 4 teams, and both these guys are gonna get 3 teams, and we're just gonna work our way down the list as if we're actually doing a mock draft. George, you want to be polite and look at the camera?
I'm busy getting ready for the fucking mock draft.
So without further ado. And we're back. Thank you for staying with us. If you did, probably not. So I'm going to take the first pick in the draft. And with the first pick, I'm going to be taking Adrian Peterson. Shocker.
What if I spelled his name?
So, you're a fucking idiot.
Is Jamaal with 2
Okay, so Adrian Peterson, first pick overall. I think it's definitely warranted. In basically throughout his career, he's never had a season under 1,000 total yards, under 10 touchdowns, obviously besides last year. But now he's coming back off of basically missing the entire season, so he's going to have fresh legs. He's going to be ready to go. In the Norv Turner offense, Asiata and McKinnon combined for 71 catches last year, so Peterson in that role should easily smash his 43 career receptions total. So I think he's even more valuable in PPR than he has been in recent years because of the system. Defenses won't be able to stack the box with all the weapons there. Now with Teddy Bridgewater, Charles Johnson, Mike Wallace, things like that. So I think basically out of all the top players, Adrian Peterson has the highest floor in fantasy. Second pick goes to you.
With the second pick, I am taking Jamaal Charles. Jamaal Charles, obviously been a mainstay in the league for years now. He's coming off a great year. PPR, he caught 70 balls last year, so it's great value there. He had 3 straight years, over 1,300 yards. They got Alex Smith a couple new weapons, like Jeremy Maclin, and Travis Kelce's an emerging tight end in the league, but he's arguably the safest running back in the league right now, fantasy-wise, so enjoy him.
Third pick of
in the
mock draft 2000 football season of 15.
2000 football season of 15.
Select Edward Lacy.
Edward Lacy.
Edward.
Of the Green Bay
Packers.
Schmackers.
It's cheat day for him.
Yeah, a bunch of mock sticks. Future system.
Alright, the third pick selected Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy, the Green Bay Packers ran, let's see, what was it? Half of their plays inside the opponent's 10-yard line were rush attempts. And Eddie Lacy is the feature back. So you put 2 and 2 together, you usually get 4. Then their splits inside the opponent's 10-yard line being the same, if not more rush heavy, with people really trying to stop Aaron Rodgers because he's just a freak and you can't stop him. So that should equate to more touchdowns for Eddie Lacy this season.
In other words, he's a beast. All right, so the fourth pick on to another one of my teams, Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch. So Beast Mode, he's been falling a little bit in drafts this year, I see, but I think he's just as worthy as a top 4 pick as any of the other running backs in front of him. The Seahawks run the ball more than any other team in the entire NFL. He received, I think he had 30 carries. Let me see this. 52 carries in the red zone last year, 29 within the 10-yard line. It's not like his performance got any worse at the end of the year. He finished with 4.7 yards per carry. They just signed him to a big 3-year extension, so clearly he's still the centerpiece of that offense. They're going to keep running the ball, and he's going to be the featured back there without any competition. So he's probably the safest bet to score 10 rushing touchdowns out of any running back in the entire NFL.
With the 5th pick, my team will select Le'Veon Bell.
There's like a apostrophe in there.
Yeah,
it's like real.
Oh, it's an L. Wow, really? Okay, well, all right. So as we know, we talked about this in a previous video. He's serving a 3-game suspension for smoking the ganja.
That's still yet to be appealed to. So
yeah, that's true. But for now, we're basing it off the 3-game suspension. And as we did say in the previous video, you could weather the storm with Le'Veon in his 3-game suspension. You could find somebody there, but when he comes back, his upside is huge. He went over 1,300 yards last year. He had 8 TDs. Obviously not going to get that if he's missing 3 games, but it's still there. In PPR, he's fantastic. Caught 83 passes last year, which was a surprise to me. I didn't realize.
Most receivers.
Yeah, more than a lot of receivers, that's for sure. Anybody on the Giants besides Odell. Anyway, but yes, he's at 5. He was the consensus #1 pick before the suspension came out. So at 5, after the 3 games, he's an outstanding pick right there.
Bueno with the number 6.
Number 6, first pick, Antonio Brazizan.
You have the writing of a 4th grader.
Dude, that one was good. That looks good.
Oh my god.
It looks good.
By the way, for full disclosure, what we did is before we're doing this, we did a mock draft amongst ourselves behind the camera. We didn't tell each other who to pick or anything. We did a legit mock draft, and then from there, we wanted to get down who we were gonna pick, and then put it on camera so it wasn't as sloppy.
Even though with George,
George took Geno Smith in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I thought it was a good pick.
We had to tell him.
Look at all the weapons. Yeah, it's a good pick.
You ain't lying.
Antonio Brown is your clear-cut #1 receiver in fantasy football this year. The guy had 1,700 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns, and 129 receptions last year. Let's see. Teams can't really throw safeties over the top on him because of the speed of Dez Bryant, who actually helps out Antonio Brown a lot more than you would think. Brown catches passes 40 yards downfield to 4 yards downfield, and his yards after the catch are stupid.
Okay, number 7, my boy DT, Demaryius, Downtown Thomas.
Downtown funky stuff below.
I might fuck this up too. He was my boy last year, and he will be again this year. I think he's well deserved of a top 8 pick. He has back-to-back years of 1,400 yards. He's going to easily be the #1 target there in Denver with Julius Thomas out. Julius Thomas had 15 red zone targets, 9 red zone touchdowns. So those are up for grabs, and who better to fucking grab those than Demaryius Thomas? He's only 27, so it's not like he's old. He's in the prime of his career right now, so another 1,400, 1,500 yards and 12, 13 touchdowns is easily in his future.
The 8th pick, I'm going to select arguably my favorite football player outside of New York Giants, Rob Gronkoswki.
Very nice. He knows how to spell that one.
Fuck yeah, I love Rob Gronkowski. He's by far the best tight end in the NFL, and fantasy-wise, it's not even a debate, obviously. With Brady suspended, he's going to be a safety blanket for his quarterback. The guy's going to tell you his name because I can't pronounce it.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes. So he will be seeing... No, I can't. He will be seeing many targets.
I have 2 children next to me.
Last year, he had over 1,200 yards, and he caught 10 touchdowns. Or 12 last year, I'm sorry. So over all the tight ends in the league, Gronk has by far the biggest advantage of anybody. He is clear-cut #1 tight end in the whole league. It's not even a debate. After Gronk, the tight end pitcher gets slim. So if you want a beast tight end, you go with the best.
The 9th selection of our mock draft, I select Matt Forte. Unwillingly select Matt Forte. Alright, 9thly selected is Matt Forte of the
Bears.
Matt Forte The last 3 seasons, he's put up over 1,000 yards rushing. Last year, he caught a stupid 102 passes, I believe, but that's neither here nor there because their head coach is totally different, John Fox. So you don't know if he's going to run the ball with them. Jay Cutler's a loose cannon, but there's really nobody there behind him. And I'm going to say he's 29 years old, is kind of a downer. So he didn't hit that 30-year-old mark yet where running backs allegedly just fall off the face of the planet. So I think this is going to be the last year Matt Forte is one of the top running backs in the league. And because there's not a lot of proven running backs, I'm going to say, in the league for fantasy-wise this year, you're going to have to kind of almost reach a little bit for him. Dig in for year.
With the numero 10 pick,
You're really lucky to get him here.
the NFL's golden boy, Andrew Luck. So, people might think it's a little crazy to reach for a quarterback in the first round, but I say you're wrong. So, Luck's arguably the safest pick in all of fantasy. You know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get an easy 4,500 yards, an easy 35-plus touchdowns. He had 40 touchdowns, I believe, last year. Yeah. So they added Andre Johnson to the outside to help him out, and I know he was first in the league in passing touchdowns, for third in passing yards. He's so young; it's not like those stats are going to diminish. Everyone knows he's probably probably top 2, top 3, arguably best quarterbacks in the NFL. So those on the field production just translates into fantasy. So we're gonna move to pick number 11.
Ooh, second round! Round 2!
Shut the fuck
Round 2!
You know what's funny, when you fast forward it, you can hear people talking, but you have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah.
All you hear is like that shit. You know it's fast forward. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak. You guys probably can't see from back there, but I'm gonna zoom in on the board so that you guys can see the entire first round. Wow, you probably can't even read that.
Markham. We'll take a picture.
Oh, there you go. It's actually kind of.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'll take a picture for you guys with some work.
fucking
Peterson, Charles, Lacy, Lynch, Bell, Antonio Brown, Demaryius Thomas, Gronk, Forte, Andrew Luck. Swinging back now, it's Dez Bryant. You know what? Fuck that. I can read it through the camera. They can see that shit.
Yeah. Now fuck the people, man.
Yeah, fuck the people.
Fuck the people.
Fuck the people.
We do it for the girls.
We
All right,
the people.
So Desi, coming off 1,300 plus yards, 16 touchdown campaign, highest in the league in terms of receiving touchdowns. He's probably the most elite red zone target in the entire NFL. Now with DeMarco Murray out of Dallas, they're gonna have to pass the ball more. Obviously, Tony Romo's gonna be slinging the ball behind probably the best offensive line in the entire league. So Bryant's only got upwards to go, and I expect the holdout to be done before the first week of play.
Team 9's first pick of the second round. Select.
To the crib!
The cream. Odell Beckham Jr. All right. Well, Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, you can't expect production like he had last year in the last 6 weeks of the season because it was just stupid. He was scoring 30 fantasy points a game. But at the same time, teams knew he was the only person getting the ball, and they still couldn't stop him. He was the #1 fantasy receiver from week 5 to 16. But the guy can catch a ball literally with 3 fingers. The ball can be thrown anywhere. He'll go get it. He's got the burner speed. He can cut on a dime. His routes are crisp. The only handcuff on him is his hamstrings. If he can remain healthy, I see him being just as good. Not just as good, but good enough. Just as good.
Fuck it, man.
Fuck it. Just as good.
Fuck it, man.
Just as good.
I think Odell is going to be the greatest football player of all time. With the 13th pick, I am taking DeMarco Murray.
That's a good one.
All right. So, DeMarco Murray, as a Giants fan, I hate his guts, but as you saw last year, the guy could be an absolutely dominant NFL running back. He put up over 1,800 yards. He had 13 touchdowns, and he's in Philadelphia. He's in Chip Kelly's offense, and when he's at the goal line, he's probably going to get all the carries, unlike LeSean McCoy last year, killing me. Anyway, he's going behind another great offensive line in Philly. Everybody says Dallas offensive line is best. Philly's actually graded out higher in the run game last year, so he's going to another good system, another good place for him to go. He's got health concerns, obviously, but he was strong. He came on strong late last year too. He didn't wear down. He's a good number 1 target as a running back.
Okay, so with the 14th pick, I went with Arian Foster to double up on Demaryius Thomas. As people are worried about Foster's injuries, he missed 3 games last year, was still a top 5 fantasy running back, top 3 in points per game. So when he's on the field, his production is at an elite level. Usually by this time in the preseason, he's tweaked like 4 hamstrings and 2 ankles. So he'll be the healthiest he's been going into the season in a long time. They're still going to focus their offense around the run game. All they have is either Brian Hoare or Ryan Mallett, whoever wins that competition. So their whole offense is going to go through the ground, and it's going to be through Foster. So again, he's a great pick.
All right, with the 5th pick of the 2nd round, Team 6 selects LeSean McCoy. McCoy had a down year last year for what his projections were. He was selected. He was the number 1 overall pick last year in most fantasy drafts. Oh wow, over here. But he got upended and rooted out to Buffalo with the rush-happy Rex Ryan. Right.
That's cute.
That was good, right? That was good. Let's see. Rex Ryan loves his running backs and loves pounding the rock. The guy's born on run and defense.
He was born on October 14th.
Oh my god.
Very good.
Okay. Let's see. I see LeSean McCoy getting a ton of carries, but if he can stay healthy, then it's going to pan out very well for him. The quarterback situation it's really fucking terrible in Buffalo. So he's going to be a big part of their passing game as well. Yeah, LeSean McCoy is going to catch a lot of passes. He's going to run a lot of balls.
With the 16th pick, I am taking Aaron fucking Rodgers. Everybody knows how good Aaron Rodgers is. He's got weapons for days, so he's going to spread the ball out all over the place. The guy throws no interceptions. He had 5 last year. He had 38 touchdowns. Like I said, he's got so many good weapons. Randall Cobb, Jordan Nelson on the outside.
You need to explain this pick.
I don't even think I need to explain it either. He's the best quarterback in football. Fantasy after Andrew Luck, you can't go wrong. Aaron Rodgers.
Next pick. Julio Jones. You're so dumb. So Julio was the 3rd leading receiver in the entire NFL last year, despite even missing a game at the end of the season. He is going into this year as the top dog on the Falcons, obviously. Kyle Shanahan's coming in. He's a very pass-friendly head coach. And Roddy White is aging a little bit, and their O-line should improve as it was awful last year. All those things combined, I think Julio's easily a safe pick at 17. And he has upside as a wide receiver 1, 2, 3 if all things go.
With the 18th overall selection, Team 3 selects Calvin Megatron Johnson.
John Steen, I believe.
John Steen?
John Steen.
All right, John Steen. Calvin Johnson had only played in 13 games last year. He did get bit with a little bit of an injury bug. But in the 13 games he played, he averaged 10 targets a game. Golden Tate's going to draw defenders off of Calvin Johnson, which leads to Calvin Johnson being one-on-one more often, which produces more fantasy points.
And this is a scary thought.
It's not good.
With the 19th pick, I'm selecting Jeremy Hill. It's fucking terrible. All right, Jeremy Hill in Cincinnati. He's the featured back. He'll be sharing carries with Bernard, but he's the go-to guy. He had 9 touchdowns last year. What I love about him, he came on late. He had 10-plus points in his last 6 games. He had he averaged 25 touches a game, and he had over 222 carries. So expect more of that this year.
Next up, A.J. Green. I don't really have much to say on AJ Green, but he missed a bunch of games last year due to an injury, so that's why his stock dropped all the way to the 20th pick. I think he's a steal at that range, given he's a top 4 fantasy receiver in 2012. He was a top 4 fantasy receiver in 2013. He'll be going into this season fully healthy and as a number 1 receiver there, also with upside of a top 5 wide receiver. So to get him that late, I think is great value. Great guy overall, just really good person. Oh, I got another pick.
Oh, that's right.
Back to back.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, so on the turnaround, after AJ Green, we went with Randall Cobb. Last year, he had a huge breakout season. Sorry, I'm going to grab some of my notes I wrote down, not to disappoint you. So they re-signed him to a 4-year contract extension this offseason. Now, you're probably wondering why I went with Randall Cobb over Jordy Nelson. Jordy Nelson underwent hip surgery this offseason. That's a very tricky injury to, I guess, heal from. He's 30 years old, so I really think at some point in the season that's gonna bother him. Not with Cobb, Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that old.
Cobb, yeah, I think at some point in the season, Jordy's hip injury might spring back up, and I think Cobb takes over as the number 1 guy there. He saw 25 red zone targets last year, so obviously he is a consistent part of that strategy down there in that zone. It's not like he got any fluky touchdowns or any deep balls that ricocheted off people or anything like that. He's clear cut number 2 guy in that offense and could be the number 1. So I think Cobb's got good value there.
With the 22nd pick, I am taking T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton is the number 1 guy in Indianapolis, that explosive offense, and he's got Andrew Luck throwing him the ball. He had over 100 targets last year, caught 80 catches. Now he's got a good complimentary receiver in Andre Johnson on the other side, so it takes away some of the pressure off him, freeing him up on the offensive side. Defenses can't focus all on him. With Andrew Luck throwing the ball, he's explosive as they get, and he's right up there. Great pick at 22.
With the 23rd selection, Team 3 selects Alshon Jeffery.
Jumpman.
See, last year, Alshon raked in 85 passes, scored 10 touchdowns. But with the departure of Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffery is now the number 1 BMOC in Chicago. Oh, I thought there was going to be a fight. Yeah. Alshon Jeffery's big man on campus there. He's going to be getting all the looks from the cig-smoking, beer-drinking Jay Cutler, who's just going to rocket the ball into him in triple fuck coverage and not give a shit if he throws a pick. He's just going to go home and bang his hot wife. So Alshon Jeffery is probably going to have the best fantasy season
in the world.
His career.
Of his career.
Of all time.
Yeah, it is.
24th pick went with C.J. Anderson. There's a lot of guessing going on for who's going to be in the starting backfield, but as training camp comes around, they've already said C.J. Anderson's going to be top of the depth chart. Obviously, Ronnie Hillman and Monte Ball are there for competition, but supposedly he has a pretty big step ahead of them. So I think he opens up as the top guy there. From weeks 9 to 17, he was the number 1 running back in fantasy, so giving him the feature spot in that Denver offense with Gary Kubiak coming in, who's very run-heavy in terms of offensive style. Anderson could easily see a top 5 fantasy running back season. So given the 24th pick, I think CJ's got tremendous upside.
25th pick, Mike Evans. Tall, freakish fuck. He had 12 touchdowns in 15 games last year. Jameis Winston's going to be throwing Mike Evans the ball a lot. He's tall, so in danger you can just throw the ball up to him. And ideally, Mike Evans go up and grab it. The guy's like 8 foot tall. So he's going to have a great year, in my opinion. And I think he's a good number 2 wide receiver on your fantasy team. Mike Evans.
For the 26th pick,
We're almost there, guys.
We're almost
Don't
there.
give up on us yet.
this
Please,
is a
keep
reach.
watching.
So I'm going to reach and write his name on the board.
Oh my god. I can't wait to show you guys a picture of this fucking board and see George's handwriting. terrible.
Well, that's probably better than
That's better than Antonio Brown. Brandon Cooks of the New Orleans Saints with the departures of Jimmy Graham, who I think is the only person Drew Brees actually looked at when he threw the football.
Kenny Stills.
And Kenny Stills. Brandon Cooks is going to be the guy down there, and he does it all. He is fast and shifty. The guy will catch the underneath routes as well as the long balls. And he can be returning punts, so they can throw you a bonus touchdown in there, maybe 1 or 2 in the season. You never know. So yeah, Brandon Cooks. I like him there. It's a bit of a reach, but I like him, so I'm good for him.
Jordy fell this far, like I mentioned before. I'm nervous about the hip injury, and like I said, also he's 30 years old, so it's not so easy to recover from injuries. Obviously, he had a huge year last year. Was he top 2, top 3, top 2?
No, he's top 3.
Top 3 fantasy wide receiver, #1 target on the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers. So obviously, there's tremendous upside there. However, the injury kind of knocks him down a bit. But at 27, I don't think you could pass on someone with wide receiver 1 upside.
I completely agree. All right, with the 28th
Before you
pick.
start, I want to see if this camera's even still rolling. I really hope.
Could you imagine?
Oh, it is.
Oh,
Good.
thank
God.
God. There you go.
All right,
All
do it up.
The 28th pick, teammate selects Justin Forsett to go along with DeMarco Murray and Rob Gronkoswki. I like Forsett a lot. He's the main guy in Baltimore. I think they like to lean heavy on the run. I also like about him, in his career, he's had a light workload. He's been a backup, and now he's got, he still has fresh legs. He's in the prime of his career. So he's got plenty of upside. Justin Forsett, good pick here at 28. Also, what I love about Justin Forsett is Baltimore hired Ron Trestman as their, is that his name? Mark Trestman as their
Ronald
as their offensive coordinator. Forte had over 100 catches last year, so he's going to come to Baltimore, incorporate his system, and look for Forsett to have plenty of catches out of the backfield, only upping his value in a PPR league.
The 29th pick here in our mock draft, I select Emmanuel Colonel Sanders from the Denver Broncos. Emmanuel Sanders is the #2 receiver there in Denver, but because Peyton Manning loves throwing his football, he can be almost a 1 receiver on some teams. But this team, he's a #2 receiver. And that's probably where he's going to be on all fantasy teams. So, Sanders is your big play guy. He's the home run hitter of the Broncos. If they're throwing a deep ball, it's going to be to the Colonel for 6 in the end zone.
If anyone watched this far, they are not picking Emmanuel Sanders based on we're putting your heart out on the line.
Like, this is great. Guys, he fucking scored a lot of fucking points. He scored fucking touchdowns. Fucking pick him for your fantasy team. That's my fucking footage. Use that. Use this footage. Emmanuel Sanders scores fucking points. That's why.
With the last pick of the with the last pick of the mock draft, we have Melvin the God Gordon. So the Chargers traded up in the NFL draft to pick Melvin Gordon at 15th overall. Obviously, they think he's going to be the feature back there. They have Danny Woodhead and Brandon Oliver behind him, so they're probably going to take away some of the receptions from him. But besides that, he's freakishly athletic. He's a great runner. He's built like a featured back in the NFL. He should get all the early carries, all the goal line carries. I think for a rookie, he's got ridiculous upside, and I think he could end the season as an RB1 definitely. So at 30, he's got too much upside to pass on him. And that wraps it. I don't know where George went, but I guess he's not going to finish his video.
Thank you guys for watching.
As always, thank you for watching. Go check out the site, bigdogsgottaeat.com. Hurt. And follow us on Twitter at BDGE. Is it underscore fantasy FB? Also, we went on Periscope. We had 3 people watching us on Periscope before, which is creepy as fuck. I don't know who was watching us, but if you watch us on Periscope, that's weird. But please come back next time. We're going to do all the behind-the-scenes work on Periscope, and you can watch George fucking pick his butthole while we're doing
And
it.
stay tuned for rounds 4 through 6 coming next week.
Yeah, 4 through 6 is coming sometime next week. Probably not, but good night, motherfucker.
We took acid for 10 days straight up in the mountains. Started running with the stallions, playing frisbee in the West Indies. Did the tango with my kidneys, eyes open. Now I know just what my kids need. Rockin' very loose pants, yeah. Rockin' very loose pants, yeah. Buried $1 million in the sand by the clock tower. Before I die, take a hot shower. Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset. Ride the Harley into the sunset.